ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ವಿದ್ಯಾಪೀಠ ವಿಧಾತಾರಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾವಾರಿಧಿ ಚಂದಿರಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿವತ್ಸಲಂ ವಂದೇ ಮಹಾಮಹಿಮ ಸದ್ಗುರು. ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. In the previous part, we saw how Madhwacharya did penance for 48 days in order to have darshan of Lord Vedavyasa. He wanted to travel to Badrikashrama where Lord Vedavyasa resides so that he can seek blessings from him in order to accomplish his mission. What was his mission? His mission to take birth on this earth was only to establish our great Madhva philosophy and remove all the doubts regarding other philosophies which was imbibed in the minds of the people. We saw how Madhwacharya went to Badrikashrama in order to have darshan of Lord Vedavyasa. One of his disciples accompanied him to a certain distance, but he couldn't maintain the pace along with Madhwacharya. Madhwacharya, he understood this, and with a single wave, the disciple flew back to Anantmat again. From which we can understand that, apart from Madhwacharya, no one had that yogyata to have darshan of the Lord Vedavyasa directly. In this sarga, in the 7th sarga, the poet describes the beauty of Badrikashrama as Madhwacharya visits nearer, and as Madhwacharya starts going nearer and nearer to the ashram of Lord Vedavyasa, the poet describes the beauty of Badri, its environment, the complete fragrance of the flowers, and the divine personality of Madhwacharya, and especially he describes the thrill experienced by Madhwacharya because he would have darshan of the Lord Vedavyasa directly. All these are described in a very beautiful and poetic manner. This sarga contains total of 59 shlokas. Out of these, 24 shlokas describe the divine figure of Lord Vedavyasa and his glories as glorified by Madhwacharya himself. The last 13 verses describe the emotional scene between Madhwacharya and Lord Vedavyasa. So, the first half of this sarga explains the beauty of the ashrama, Badri, and the thrill experienced by Madhwacharya. Madhwacharya was holding a stick, what we call it as the sacred danda, in one of his hand. He was jumping from peak to peak, from one single mountain to another mountain on the icy slopes of Himalayas, and saw at a distance a grove of trees. There in the front there was residing Sri Goddess Lakshmi Devi. In the middle of the grove, in the thick of this grove, Sri Lord Vedavyasa had his hermitage. The great sages of reputation were also dwelling near the ashrama, and they enjoyed the benefit of discourses which was given by Lord Vedavyasa. Here what we must find is the aspirants, they were intellectuals in their own respective fields, but irrespective of all these, they were present there and they were very much eager enough to imbibe the knowledge from Lord Vedavyasa. There was no jealousy among the aspirants. All this, the entire scene, it formed a miniature of Vaikuntha, where the presence of Lord inspired the nature with glow and glory in complete peace. Madhwacharya was a personality with all 32 lakshanas, 32 marks of a perfect man as given in our shastras. He was an imposing personality with a divine effulgence, a harmony of sublime beauty, invincible power, spiritual insight. His height, his symmetrical body, proportionate limbs, and other parts, everything were completely describing the 32 marks of a perfect man which were nowhere found in the world. The aspirants present there, they saw Madhwacharya and they themselves believed that Lord Brahmadeva or Lord Vayudeva has took an incarnation of a human being in the form of Madhwacharya, because no other man could possess such beautiful personality, such marks of a perfect man. So the aspirants over there, they were in a confusion that either Madhwacharya was a denizen of the human world or a visitant from the human world, which means he himself was an incarnation of Vayudeva itself. Elsewhere, how could a person possess so much in excellence? How could a person who couldn't be an incarnation of some deva, how could he possess all those 32 marks of a perfect man? Madhwacharya walking fast, he was walking very much fast in the center of the ashrama, because until then Madhwacharya would have darshan of Lord Vedavyasa, but only in his inner side. I mean, he worshipped Lord Vedavyasa daily. He had darshan, but in his inner side. So while seeing with his inner eye. Now he was very much glad that he could see Lord Vedavyasa directly with his physical eyes. Before, he could only have darshan from his mind. He could simply have darshan from his inner eye. Now he was very much glad enough because he could have darshan directly from his physical eyes. He was completely filled with enthusiasm. As he fastly approached towards Vyasashrama, he immediately caught the sight of the illuminating figure of Lord Vedavyasa. He couldn't control his enthusiasm. So in the midst of Muni Mandala, how the scene here is described very much beautifully. In the midst of Muni Mandala, I mean in the midst of, there were many munis and aspirants sitting around. In the midst of this Muni Mandala, Sri Lord Vedavyasa was sitting. He himself, he appeared as the glorious son of Satyavati Devi and Parashara. He filled his heart with mind and glories and thoughts of Lord Vedavyasa as he was approaching nearer towards the Lord. Here in this context, Narayana Panditacharya explains a series of beautiful events in praise of Lord Vedavyasa. He worshipped Lord Vedavyasa from head to toe by praising each and every part of his body. The description of the Lord from the head to toe is done here in this sarga especially. Madhwacharya had the privilege of seeing the Lord with full glory with his physical eyes. Fixing his, he couldn't take his eyes out of the lotus feet of Vedavyasa. He fell on the lotus feet of Lord Vedavyasa. Lord Vedavyasa, he warmly embraced Madhwacharya as a recognition of his unlimited bhakti. The poet describes Lord Vedavyasa from head to toe in a very beautiful manner. Firstly, how the poet describes the Lord is explained in a few verses in this sarga. First, he describes the Lord's abdomen containing the 14 worlds. He describes the Lord's abdomen containing the 14 worlds, from Patal Lok to Satya Lok. It is completely a miracle. On his chest, he held the essence of all the three Vedas. His neck is adorned with Kaustubhamani, which means a mark of superiority. His arms, which are completely proportionately long, and his reddish palms. His right hand showing the Jnana Mudra, which is a symbol of knowledge, and his left hand, which shows the Abhaya Mudra, which means it would ward off all the fears and it assured moksha. The three beautiful lines on his neck are symbols of Vedas. His face was like that of a moon radiating peace to the world. His white teeth charming like pearls. His speech, which was completely divine in nature, it pleased thousands of people at a time. With a lovely smile, Lord Vedavyasa was looking at Madhwacharya. Madhwacharya was meditating by recognizing all these praises of Lord and glories of the Lord. He immediately fell on the lotus feet of the Lord. With full grace and affection, Lord Vedavyasa lifted up Madhwacharya and embraced him, because he was sure that Madhwacharya was a depiction of unlimited bhakti. The disciples of Vedavyasa understood the scene, they understood the minds of Lord Vedavyasa, and they immediately immediately offered a seat appropriate to Madhwacharya. Madhwacharya, with the orders and with the blessings of Lord Vedavyasa, took his seat and he waved at all the other munis present over there. Lord Vedavyasa introduced Madhwacharya to the disciples, to all the disciples and sages present over there, and the sages themselves, at first they were actually shocked, but later they were very much glad because they had such a person amongst them who was a great priest, and they all offered their due respects. They spoke among themselves that Vishnu and Vayu had come along in the form of Lord Vedavyasa and Ananda Tirtha for the sake of humanity. It is enjoined in the Shastras that blessings of the Guru are very much essential in order to release ourselves from bondage. The same way, it is the blessing of the Guru which lead us to the blessings of Lord Sri Hari, because we cannot directly reach Lord Sri Hari by taking the blessings of the Lord, blessings of Guru. We can attain the blessings of Lord Sri Hari because the Guru is the person who acts as a mediator, who puts our blessings, who puts our requests in front of Lord Sri Hari. From this we must understand that a Guru acts as a mediator between us and the Lord. He teaches us many by the own practice to the precepts. From all these we can understand that Madhwacharya stands as an example of devotion to Guru, and he showed us what exactly is Guru Bhakti. From this sarga, we get to know Lord Vedavyasa, his part to part, how much relevance it carries, and not only his parts are glorified in this chapter, his many incarnations, his many avatars are also explained in this sarga. Let us all know about the Lord Lord Vishnu's various incarnations as glorified by Madhwacharya in this chapter in the coming next part. Thank you. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.